any kind of theory you learn in the classroom. After learning it, you go to the lab and perform the experiment. So in this chapter, I'll just show you that. So in this chapter, scientific benefits of chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We just finished one page. It was in the second page. So page after page, you will see this chapter deals with a very important subject, because we all are concerned about results in anything we do. So people challenge. There was one professor who came to meet Srila Prabhupada in America, and he asked, why are you troubling these boys by making them repeatedly utter this Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna? What is the use? They will get tired, they'll get bored. Rather you just let them watch movies, let them just play games, and why do you make them waste their time sitting in one place and chanting? This Prabhupada said, what are you talking? You can see that the boys were taking drugs, they were smoking, they were drinking, they were into all kinds of nasty habits, ruining their health, and also ruining the peaceful lives of other people all around. Prabhupada said, your education has made only hippies. And Prabhupada said, but this chanting has made hippies into happies. You can see how much these boys have become changed. These boys and girls have become pure in their habits. And Prabhupada said, you could not stop them from drinking and smoking and drugs and going for naked cabaret dances. But this chanting of Hare Krishna has completely wiped out all the bad habits. You can see a degraded boy becomes a perfect gentleman. A selfish fellow becomes a selfless fellow. A cruel fellow becomes a compassionate fellow. An arrogant fellow becomes a humble fellow. A person who is into all kinds of, like people who are eating cow flesh, started eating only vegetarian food. People who are drinking liquor, they are drinking cow's milk now. How this radical transformation has come about. And that is because of the chanting, Prabhupada said. And Prabhupada said, when the hippies left the stereotyped lifestyle and they protested against being drafted into Vietnam War, they left their colleges, left their homes, and they all went to the Bowery area where they were living unclean lives, drinking, smoking, drugs, and they wouldn't take bath for months together. And they were growing long beards, long mustaches, long hair, and having dozens of sex partners, and all kinds of nasty habits. And government could not stop it. What to speak of the police? The police would capture them and bring them home. Again, the hippies would run back. The police couldn't stop them. The military couldn't stop them. The government couldn't stop them. The teachers couldn't stop them. They didn't listen to anybody. They protested against, this is called counterculture. The hippies protested against the counterculture, and they lived a very dangerous, nasty type of lifestyle in the Bowery. The most amazing thing with Srila Prabhupada is this. When he went to America, he didn't go to the top class of the richest society there just to make money. That was not his intention. He wanted to show Americans that I will go to the bottommost type of people in the bottommost rung of society, hippies, who actually couldn't be, they were incorrigible, we can say, by any part of society. And they couldn't be corrected, rectified by anybody. And you see, Srila Prabhupada, he went to the Bowery area, he lived amidst them, in the midst of them, and he preached to them, purified them by giving the chanting of the holy name and made them sing. And today you should see, just 1 minute.
Hare Krishna, welcome back.
1 minute. I'll just share this video. You can see this. You can hear from somebody who was a hippie himself. He says he himself was a hippie. He last 50 years, 50. He is married to one Vishnu Priya Mataji. Last 50 years, he has been a devotee in ISKCON. He's a disciple of Srila Prabhupada. His name is Sankarshan Das Adhikari Prabhu. He and his good wife are traveling all across the globe and propagating Krishna consciousness. He has got more than 50,000 email. He's called as an internet guru, we call him. Internet, if you go to Science of Self-Realization course, which he has been doing. And last 50 years, so he says he himself was a hippie before. How he became a devotee?
Hare Krishna, welcome back to
Sound is coming?
This is Sankar Das.
Sound is coming? Okay.
Speaking to you from ISKCON, Austin, Texas, USA. The following video footage is very dear to me. It shows Prabhupada chanting back in the 60s on Hippie Hill in San Francisco. This is where I first met the devotees. They were just coming from Hippie Hill, where they were doing the kirtan. I first met them right there as they was coming off Hippie Hill. Plus the fact that I was also from the hippie movement. A hippie friend of mine turned me on to this Hare Krishna mantra back in 1968. So it's quite nice footage. I'll go ahead and let you see it now. They call it the hippie religion. That's the name of the footage. Thanks for tuning in. Hare Krishna.
He embodied spirituality, and his disciples wanted it. They said, we want some of that. Whatever it is he's having, I want that. So this is the Guru.
So many hippies were really in love with Prabhupada and in love with the devotees and considered the Hare Krishna to be the hippie religion at this point.
If everyone in the United States believed in Krishna to the extent that you do, what would happen to this country? How would it be transformed? Very, very happy and peaceful. What would you describe as a hippie? You smoke that's that thing. Something extraordinary.
This is the course he conducts, www.joincourse.com. So you will find how, because, every day, he sleeps at 8:39 at night and gets up 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 a.m. He gets up, chants 16 rounds in the morning, 2:30 to 4:30, attends Mangalarati, everything. Then after that, he worships the deities. And he and his wife, when they travel around, in each city, they have 3-4 programs every day. And he has been doing it last 50 years. Can you imagine? This gentleman whom I showed you now. And he says, I was a hippie and I am transformed one. Why do you want evidences from other places? I am myself evidence, he says that. When he came to Pune, we invite him to Pune for 1 week at a time and for 2 weeks in a year. 2 times we invite him. So for me, I don't need anybody to, give me confidence that chanting Hare Krishna is valuable or useful. I've seen with my eyes people who have actually gone through the hippie culture and who have become so transformed. And like Prabhupada said, I have come to America to convert the crow class people into swan class people. And we have seen people who have become swans with our own eyes, not 1 or 2, hundreds and thousands of them. And that is the power of the mantra. Now please read it. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the great deliverer of the mind. Yeah. Chanting
Hare Krishna Mahamantra, the great deliverer of mind. Chanting Hare Krishna removes innumerable bad qualities from the mind, such as insecurity, lethargy, madness, ignorance, bad habits, dissatisfaction, depression, stress, anxiety, nervous tension, fears, ignorance, greed, envy, anger, pride, intolerance, etc., and make the mind light like a swab of cotton. The very meaning of word mantra means that which liberates or delivers the mind from all evils.
Yeah. So he says here, you can see the long list of bad habits which are given here. These are the problems of the modern day youth. You will see that. And Hare Krishna Mahamantra is a proven method. That's why, it is not just belonging to some Hindus of India. Now it is actually chanted by all classes of people, all across the globe. You will find people chanting. In fact, this Hare Krishna mantra is not only chanted by ISKCON devotees. I can give you a reference of a dozen organizations which are chanting Hare Krishna. Many different people from different organizations. I will send the links to you through Omkar Prabhu. You will see that. Which means this chanting of Hare Krishna is actually given as a Taraka mantra for Kali Yuga. Anybody born in that, so there's many other organizations also chant, like Muktananda Ashram chants, Osho people chant. Like that there are like Krishna Previ Swamigal people chant. And Global Organization for Divinity, Muralidhara Swamigal, they chant. Like that, dozens of organizations are chanting Hare Krishna, because the Mahamantra, everybody knows that this is mentioned in the Kalinsanatana Upanishad, and for this particular season or the age, Kali Yuga, this is the method. So, and people have experienced it. The chanting produces peace, and chanting produces happiness. Chanting cleanses the heart. Yeah, go ahead. Chanting Hare Krishna awards.
Chanting Hare Krishna awards the chanter innumerable benefits, including concentration, confidence, peace of mind, security, steady intelligence, happiness, efficiency, cool head, creating thinking, joyful
Actually,
disposition.
it's supposed to be creative thinking. It is.
Creative, yeah, okay. Joyful disposition, detachment from useless and wasteful thoughts, focus on work at hand, dependence on God's blessing, childlike simplicity, freedom from miseries of birth, old age, disease, and death, and ultimately love for God and eternal life in spiritual world.
Yeah. So the first para gives a list of all the unwanted things called anarthas, what the Mahamantra washes out and makes us free from. And the second paragraph talks about what all positive, constructive, good qualities that it will bring about in your life and fill your life with, positivity, like a garden full of fragrant, beautiful, fragrant roses. So that way the chanting of the holy name has been proven to benefit us in these ways, both ways. Yeah, read that. Easy way.
Easy way to connect with Lord of millions of universes. In this world, if you want.
Yeah, the first paragraph talks about, for example, if I have to connect with you, I can connect with you with a mobile. I may make a phone call to you, you receive the mobile, and then we talk. So it's materially, I want to connect with somebody, I use a mobile. Spiritually, I want to connect with Krishna, what I do, that is a spiritual mobile, which is a holy name. Because spiritual mobile is that mobile. By calling Krishna through that mobile, Krishna connects and Krishna responds. And the practical proof for this is what? You will see that, the Gajendra elephant called out, Narayana, Akila Guru, Bhagavan Namaste. He looked up at the sky and called, and immediately you find Narayana came and delivered the crocodile as well as the elephant. That means, you call the name of the Lord fervently, and then Lord responds to that. That means through the mantra is a code by which you can connect with him. Same with Draupadi also. Hey Krishna, hey Govinda, hey Gopijanavallabha, hey Dwarkavasin, she's calling now. By such a loud call from Hastinapuram. Hastinapur is Delhi. And Krishna was in Dwarka. So you can see there is a distance. Dwarka is in the western India. And Hastinapur is in northern India. Quite a bit of distance. And when she called loudly, at that time Krishna was in the home of, the palace of Satyabhama. In a golden plate, she was serving him lunch. He was about to begin eating. As soon as he heard that call, he could hear it. She's calling from Hastinapur, but Krishna could hear it. That's the meaning of his ears. Our ears are not like that. Our ears cannot reach. Like, if somebody is whispering about me, even if I'm in the same room, I cannot know what are they whispering about me. But if we are whispering about somebody and then Krishna is in Goloka, he can still hear it because his ears are so sharp. So as soon as he heard, immediately Krishna got up. He didn't eat his lunch. He moved his plate aside. Satyabhama asked, Swami, what happened? Why are you not eating? He said, it's a serious matter. One of my devotees is in great dangers. I have to go now. He said, one moment he disappeared from there. Next moment, he appeared in the Hastinapur court of the Kauravas. He appeared there and provided unlimited sari. And this happened simply by one call of Draupadi. And what did she use? She used the holy name. Hey Krishna, Hey Govinda, Hey Gopi Jannavalabha, Dwarka Vasin, like that she's calling. So you will find Hare Krishna mantra is also a spiritual call. You spiritually call, you may or may not know, but Krishna is hearing. You may say that, Prabhuji, where is Krishna? Where is he hearing? I don't know, I don't see. That is our limitation. Just like in a car, you are sitting inside the car with a cooling glass. So people walking on the road cannot see you because you are inside the car. But you can see everybody outside. That's the way the cooling glass works. It's a one way. This way you can see, this way you cannot see. One way. So when we are calling, Krishna is watching. We don't know he is watching because it's like a cloud in the sky. Above the cloud there is sun. But below the cloud, if you see, you can't see the sun, but the sun nevertheless exists. And there is a sun, the sun is watching us from the top. We don't see that. So that's the meaning of being a spiritual mobile. One time, Kunti Maharani, when Akrura had gone to check how she is doing in Hastinapur along with her sons Pandavas, Kunti Maharani broke to tears and she cried, Hey Govinda. She was actually talking to Krishna in the presence of Akrura. She said, Oh Govinda, oh Krishna, you are the protector of your devotees. There are a lot of atrocities going on against my children here. Bhima is fed with poison. The Pandavas are taken to Varnavat Lakshagara to be burned alive. So she said, the long list of problems these Kauravas are creating. Hey Govinda, without your company, we would be doomed, and finished long before. So at that time, Prabhupada says that Kunti was speaking to Krishna as if Krishna was right next to her. But actually, she was not there. Krishna was not there. Krishna was far away in Dwaraka at that time. So Prabhupada says, wouldn't be considered crazy that a person is far away? For example, you are in America now. Your mother, father are in India. So suddenly you start crying and talking to your mother and father, even without a phone also. You are just talking to your mother and father, crying, calling their name or whatever. Boys would say, maybe he's an emotional boy. He has become very emotionally driven. Maybe he is feeling some homesickness, he's crying. They may say, isn't it? So Kunti was weeping like that, but Prabhupada says it's not like that with Krishna. Because Krishna is Param Satyam. He is present in every atom. Even if you are alone, you can call him and he is still listening to your call. He says, how? Just like I saw one day a man walking in the road, talking to himself. I thought he has gone mad because nowadays modern day society is becoming more and more stressful and depressive. I thought he has gone mad. So when two of us were walking, we were looking at him. When he came closer, we understood he has got a Bluetooth in the ear. He is actually having a phone. He is talking to somebody in the Bluetooth. He is not talking to himself. So he is connected through the Bluetooth. Similarly, Kunti Maharani was also connected to Blue Krishna. And others may think she is crazy, but she was connected. She is talking to him and Krishna is reciprocating with her. So in this way, you will find Krishna connection is possible 24/7, every day, all day. And the hotline to connect with Krishna is the chanting of the holy name. That's the point mentioned here. So the holy name is a connecting method. That is mentioned there, yeah. Okay, read this one. How we know?
How do we know that Lord Krishna hears our call?
That I told you. Draupadi called the name and Krishna immediately responded. That's the picture I have shown there. If you see the Draupadi was there, and Sri Krishna appears in the Kaurava Sabha and supplies unlimited sari. Gajendra also I told you. Now you have to choose the correct answer. Please read the quiz question.
What is the easiest way to connect with the Supreme Lord? First one, Prabhuji.
First one, yeah, that's the easiest way. There are other methods, but first one is the easiest method, yeah. Second? Queen Kunti called Krishna when he was not present before her. What do you infer?
Again,
First one.
The first one I told you, correct, yeah. Okay, let us see what are the practical benefits of chanting Hare Krishna. In Shikshashtakam, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu mentions 8 wonderful benefits of chanting the holy name. Also, Very first verse. Cheto darpanamarjanam bhavamahadavagnanirvapanam Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandambudi Vardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatmasnapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. So there are 7 benefits mentioned in the very first verse of Shikshashtakam. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. The holy name chanting is like taking a wet cloth and wiping a dirty mirror. When you wipe a dirty mirror, then the mirror becomes clean. Then you can see the face. Similarly, the chanting of the holy name cleanses the mirror of the heart. That's the first one. Bhava Maha Dava Agnanirvapanam means the holy name stops the cycle of birth and death. Just like when Ajamila, at the time of death, Narayana, he loudly shouted, no, the Vishnu Dutas came and took a sword and cut off the Yamapash, the ropes of Yama Dutas. Bhava Maha Dava Agnanirvapanam. So no more suffering for Ajamil after that time. Ajamil left Kanyakumj and went to Haridwar, became a pure devotee, and went back to Godhead. And then Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam. Just like the cooling moon in the night, it blossoms the night lotus. There is one lily. If you see, say lilies blossom in the night. So the cooling moon blossoms that flower, white lily. Similarly, he says our heart is like a white lily which is closed now. But when you chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, then it blossoms like this. It makes our heart blossom. People are morose, but by chanting the holy name, they become blossomed like this in their personality. Shreya Kairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam. Illiterates become great scholars by chanting the holy name. He says, greatly educated and learned. There are boys who were ignoramus before, but after coming to this movement and chanting the holy name, they became very powerful, learned, like Valmiki. He was actually not only a vagabond, he was actually a highway robber. But he went on to become, earlier his name was Ratnakar. He took a sword and came running towards Narada. But later he went on to become Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana. That's why he's saying, illiterates become learned scholars like Valmiki, who wrote Ramayana. Vidyavadu Jivanam. Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam, he says. Ananda means happiness, Ambudi means ocean. The chanting of Hare Krishna expands the ocean of happiness. The ocean itself is very big, but it expands further, bigger than the ocean. It keeps expanding. Ananda Ambudi Vardhanam. Prati Padam Purna Amrita Swadhanam. Not only you will get happiness after death or after going to spiritual world, even while living in this world. At every step, your life can be very blissful, happy. Actually, devotees have experienced, as you get cleansed more and more, you feel more and more happiness. In the beginning, you feel difficulty in chanting. But after you cleanse your heart, then the happiness increases more and more. For example, if any of you had jaundice, a jaundiced person, wherever he sees yellowish. It's called yellow fever. You know that? Yellow fever means everything appears yellow. Even I had it in my IIT days. 2 to 3 months I had this yellow fever. My eyes would be completely yellowish. Everything looks yellow and your tongue looks very bitter. When the doctor would give you a glass of sugarcane juice, you drink it, you'll feel like vomiting. It's like bitter to the core. You can't take it. But doctor says this is the medicine for you. Every day you have to drink sugarcane juice. The problem is where? Is it in the sugarcane juice? The juice is perfectly fine, but the tongue has a coating of jaundice, due to which it is utterly bitter. And I went on taking for 2-3 months. The last 3rd month, I saw gradually the taste of sugarcane juice started reviving. The tongue became free from that bitterness. Pitta upatapta rasanasana rochikano. Sri Rupa Goswami says, when the bitterness in the tongue was gone, I started tasting sweet. I told the doctor, now it's perfectly sweet. Then he said, you are perfectly fine. He said, you have no more disease now. Therefore, you are getting the sweetness. So not that the sweetness came in sugarcane juice. It was always sweet, but my tongue was perceiving it as bitter. That is due to the disease. Similarly, right now, anybody can tell me what is our disease, due to which the chanting Hare Krishna is a little difficult for us.
Our attachment to material things.
Okay. Shekhar is saying that our attachment to materialistic things. Okay.
False ego, Prabhuji.
False
Sorry,
ego. Correct. False ego. Very good. Yeah. And then?
All pride, anger, greed, lust.
Lust, lust, pride, anger, greed, and all those anarthas. Very good. Yeah, that is also correct. Yeah, you're all right. Yeah?
Disconnection over births. Disconnection from
Disconnection
Lord
with
over.
yeah, correct. We have turned away from him and we have forgotten him. And all of you said many things. Put together, I'll tell you, there is only one word in Sanskrit called bhoga vritti. Bhoga vritti means enjoying mentality. Opposite of bhoga vritti is seva vritti, which means service mentality, seva bhava. Hanuman had seva vritti. Ravana had bhoga vritti, you will see. Similarly, you will find Duryodhana had bhoga vritti. Pandavas had seva vritti. Similarly, you will find Kaikeyi, polluted by Manthara's bad association, she developed bhoga vritti, isn't it? On the other hand, her son Bharat, he went to forest and welcomed Ram back to Ayodhya. He had seva vritti. So it's very easy to understand. Hiranyakashipu had bhoga vritti. Prahlad had seva vritti. You can see that. Seva vritti means people think God is the center. I am his humble servant. All living beings are his children. Let us all serve him. That is seva vritti. And bhoga vritti means I am the center. Let the whole world revolve around me. Let everyone be at my beck and call. I'll become Basanubas. That is bhoga vritti. And seva vritti means Dasanudas. Is it clear? So when we have bhoga vritti, then we find, for example, imagine somebody comes to you and goes on glorifying your friend. Oh, your friend is so smart, so shrewd, so intelligent. He got good marks in this. He got, in sports, he won this and that and everything. You will say, okay, that's all right. I know about my friend. It's all right. I've heard about it. Why don't you say something about me? Like that, somebody may ask. So sometimes when we hear about somebody else's glories, we may go to sleep. On the other hand, if somebody glorifies us, immediately our ears may be wide awake. Please tell me more. Please tell me more. We may hear. Similarly, we find that when Krishna is glorified, the conditioned soul doesn't want to hear. On the other hand, dear devotees, you will see if you love somebody, somebody praises them, you will want to hear more and more. For example, if somebody goes to your mother or father and tells about your glories, and they would be enlivened. They will tell them, please tell us more about our son. Yes, our son is a very brilliant boy. Because they love you so much. If somebody praises you, they will want to hear. And if somebody doesn't love a person, the praise becomes very painful to hear. Like Kaliya could not tolerate the dance of Krishna on his head. Krishna was dancing because he was envious and he was polluting the Yamuna with poisonous smoke and everything. So therefore, we have to destroy this bhoga vritti, like Krishna subdued Kaliya. And we have to awaken seva vritti. Vijayavasis were all full of seva bhav, seva vritti. And Kaliya came to exploit and enjoy Vrindavan by polluting the Yamuna, isn't it? That is this thing. So in this way, And then finally he says, Sarva Atma Snapanam. The chanting of the holy name bathes the soul. Like this 8 benefits he says. Param Bhajete Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. It's actually all glory to the Krishna Sankirtan which does these 8 benefits, he's saying. And now you read the antidote. For Kali Yuga.
Even an expert swimmer cannot cross Kali's ocean of problems and anxieties. Chanting Hare Krishna is the antidote to relieve the infection of Kali Yuga, solve all problems and remove all anomalies.
Yatagadam viritamam upayuktam yadrichaya ajanatopyat atmagunam kuryan mantra upahritah. He's saying, read the translation, yeah?
If a person unaware of the effective potency of a certain medicine takes that medicine or is forced to take it, it will act even without his knowledge because its potency does not depend on the patient's understanding. Similarly, even though one does not know the value of chanting that holy name of the Lord, if one chants knowingly or unknowingly, the chanting will be very effective.
Yes. Like you see the picture in the left side, you find Ajamila unknowingly called his son's name. Narayana, he called. And Vishnudutas immediately came and cut off the Yama's ropes and drove away the Yamadutas. So here is an example of how Ajamila just called the Lord's name unknowingly and not even indicating to the Lord. Still he gained the benefit. Similarly, when you go to a doctor, he gives you blue pill, yellow pill, green pill. You don't know what it is. the names of the technical names of the medicines you don't know. Just you eat the medicine, he tells you morning, afternoon, evening, take this course for 1 week and you get all right. Even without knowing the name of the medicine or even without knowing the content of the medicine. Like that, the holy name is beneficial even, and it is a fact actually. Why? Because in America, boys and girls, they never knew who Krishna is. They never knew who Rama is. All of you are Indian boys. You have heard about Rama Krishna from Ramayana, Mahabharata and all. You know it. But they were not aware. That means even without knowing also, if you chant Hare Krishna, you still benefit. And they have benefited, like the medicine given by a doctor benefiting the candidate. That's the example given. Yeah, read this. Second one, cleanses the heart.
Dirty hearts.
Yeah.
Dirty heart causes all sufferings. Sito Darpana Marjanam. Chanting Hare Krishna removes lust, anger, greed, and material desires from the heart and awards the highest joy.
Yannam shatimatrena puman bhavati nirmalah tasya tirtha padakyam va dasanam avashishyate. Yeah. What is impossible for the servants of the Lord? By the very hearing of His holy name, one is purified. See the right side picture. Anybody can guess whose picture is that? The right side?
Is that by any chance Prahlad?
He looks like Prahlad. The small boy looks like Prahlad.
Dhruv Maharaj.
Who is that?
Dhruv Maharaj.
Dhruva Maharaj. So what is Lord Vishnu doing? Anybody knows what is Lord Vishnu doing with Dhruva there? What is he doing? See, when Dhruva went to the forest, met Narada Muni, and Narada Muni taught him how to meditate on Lord Vishnu, chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he chanted the mantra. And 6 months of practice, Lord Vishnu appeared, like you are seeing in the picture. And at that time, Dhruva Maharaj started trembling in ecstasy. He folded his palms and he wanted to, offer some Sanskrit prayers, to Lord Vishnu. But then he was a small boy. He never even went to Gurukula and got Aksharabhyas. He was an illiterate boy at that time. How can he sing Sanskrit prayers? So Lord Vishnu touched his head with a shank. You are seeing that. Lord Vishnu smiled and said, okay, let me inspire the boy. You can see this. He's touching his head with a shank. You can see that. So when he touched his head with a shank, immediately Dhruva started speaking amazing words. Yonta pravishya mama vachimimam prasuptam sanjeevayatta kila shakti darasvadhamna anyasta hasta charana shravanat padadin prana namo bhagavate purushaya tubhyam bhaktim muhu prabhasatam tvayime prasango bhuyadananta mahatam amalashayanam yenanta solvanamaru vyasanam bhavabdhim neshye bhavat gunakatam ritapanamattah. These are the first 2 verses he speaks. He says, my dear Lord, when you touched my head, immediately all my kalmasha, my impurities in my heart became driven out, he says. My hands, my legs have become electrified by your touch. Especially my tongue has become so pure that I am able to recite this slokas to you. Like the Dhruva Maharaj says. So you all know what was the desire with which Dhruva Maharaj went to forest. Anybody knows? What was his ambition?
To meet Lord Vishnu, I guess.
Oh,
that
really?
was his.
He only wanted to meet Vishnu, that's all, or he wanted to ask him for something?
He wanted to ask that why he was thrown from the lap of his father.
Yeah.
And his other brother, Uttam, he was allowed to sit.
Right. Correct. His brother was allowed to sit, Dhruva was not allowed to sit. So he wanted to go to forest and get a kingdom which is bigger than Brahma's kingdom also. See, his father is Uttanapad. Uttanapad's father is Swayambhuva Manu. Swayambhuva Manu's father is Brahma. That means his great-grandfather Brahma, he wanted a kingdom bigger than his great-grandfather's kingdom also. That was his aspiration. He went to the forest. But when Lord Vishnu touched his head with a shank, all his impure desires were washed away. And he gave up the enjoying mentality and he told Lord Vishnu, I don't want anything. Khacham vichinvan abhidivyaratnam swamin kritartho asmi varam na yache, he said. Now I don't want that kingdom. I have seen you, my Lord. You are my master. I am very satisfied. Your love has satisfied me and I don't want anything, he said. Still Lord gave him Dhruva Loka. He told, no, Dhruva, you had ambition, take it. Take that also. Take my affection also and take the Dhruva Loka also. Both he gave him. So in this way you will find the impure desire in the heart gets purified by chanting. If you chant Hare Krishna, the impure desires are finished. People may come with an ill motive and the ill motive goes away. Like for example, many times when boys come to our ISKCON temples, they may not come for doing bhakti. I have seen many times here, when we do a Prarana program once in a month, big crowd of boys, 400-500 boys come also. So do you think they're coming to temple to hear the lecture and learn chanting and go? Many times when new boys come, what do they come for? To ISKCON temple. They are attracted only to prasad. Some of them are attracted to dancing music. They want to dance. Wherever there's chance for dancing, they will go. They go for dancing. There are very few who may want to come and take darshan of the Lord, deities. Some people want to go for some outing, for a change. Some people boys say we came for just having a chill out instead of being, stuck in a synthetic cabin. They like to go out for a change. But there are very few devotees like all of you sitting here. You all actually have come to learn knowledge of the Vedic literature and to chant the holy name and advance in spiritual life. Still you will find anybody comes with any motive, eventually if they just stick on, the old impure motives go away, the pure heart becomes purified. You will see. Even a boy who comes for just taking prasad and going away, he doesn't attend the lecture. If he chants Hare Krishna, gradually he will start attending the lecture. Gradually he start understanding the philosophy. That means holy name purifies the heart more and more and makes the motives purer and purer. Controls the senses. Please read it.
Chanting Hare Krishna fully controls the tongue, which is the most difficult thing to control. Then the mind and other senses follow suit. A hunter, Ratnakar, chanted Mara Mara and eventually ended up chanting Rama Rama and became the most saintly Valmiki Maharshi.
See, you see in the picture, you are seeing and the Ratnakar is taking a sword in the hand, is coming running. But Narada Muni did not budge 1 inch. And seeing that, the hunter was very taken by surprise. He asked Narada Muni, hey, I have never seen anybody like you who is standing without budging an inch, without any fear. I am bringing a sword and showing you, are you not afraid? Narada Muni smiled and said, why should I be afraid? Atma can never be cut. Atma can never be burnt. He was pretty confident. So Ratnakar was impressed. And then he said, since you have gone through my forest here, nobody survives here, I'll tie you up. So he tied him up to the tree. And of course, Narada told him that you are indulging in such sinful activities. You will have to reap the fruits for all the sinful activities in future. And then Ratnakar said, but my family members will take a share. I don't have to take everything. Narada said, no. For your sinful reactions, you have to take the reactions. Everybody has to fly their own plane. You have to take your karmas will come to you. And this fellow said, okay, I'll tie you up to a tree. I will go and ask my family members and come. So he went to meet his wife and family members, parents and all. And they all said, why should we take your sin? You commit sin, you have to reap the fruits, they told him. Then he came back to Narada and fell at his feet and begged for forgiveness and released him from the tree. And Narada told him, now become a gentleman now. Chant Ram, Ram, Ram. But then this fellow couldn't chant Ram, Ram. The word Rama wouldn't come out of his mouth. He was so sinful. Can you imagine? All of you try saying Rama. That means you are not so bad as Ratnakar was. He was so sinful that even the whole name couldn't be spelled by his tongue. Then Narada thought, what could be done? This fellow said, I know only one thing. Isko maro, usko maro, 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 maro. I only know maro. Then Narada said, okay, go on saying mara, 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 mara. So he said, mara, 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 mara. Like that he was saying. Ye mara, wo mara, ye sab log mar gaye, mara, mara. But then by mara, mara, it became Ram, Ram, Ram. Even by that he got purified. Even though he didn't chant Ram directly. indirectly chanted Ram by saying Mara Mara. And then he became purified. So that's what this verse is. Kulashakara recites this verse. Shatru Chedai Kamantram Sakalam Upanishad Vakya Sampujya Mantram Samsaro Cheda Mantram Samuchita Tamasa Sanga Niryana Mantram Sarvaishwaryai Kamantram Yatana Pujaka Sandashta Santrana Mantram Juve Sri Krishna Mantram Japa Japa Satatam Janma Safalya Mantram. Very beautiful verse, you see. Please recite read the translation.
O tongue, please constantly chant the mantra composed of Sri Krishna's names. This is the only mantra for destroying all enemies. The mantra worshipped by every word of the Upanishads, the mantra that uproots miserable samsara, the mantra that drives away all the darkness of ignorance, the mantra for attaining infinite opulence, the mantra for curing those bitten by the poisonous snake of worldly distress arising from the poisonous teeth of impure senses, and the mantra for making one's birth in this world successful.
Yeah, very good. Yeah. So he's saying that it destroys all the enemies. Who are the enemies? Kama, Krodha, Madaloba, Mohammadsri. They are the enemies. It destroys them. And in the Upanishads, it's glorified. In many Upanishads, this mantra is glorified. And then it uproots the miserable samsara, means it stops the cycle of birth and death. And it drives away the darkness of ignorance and lights up the torchlight of knowledge in your heart. And it gives infinite opulences. Whatever one may desire, everything is obtained by chanting the holy name. One need not even ask also. And then what is the poisonous snake of worldly distress? Like a snake bite kills a person. The worldly sufferings make a person practically dead and unconscious. And the chanting of the holy name cures all the sufferings of the world arising from the sensual disturbance. And then finally he's saying it makes our birth successful. Janma safalya. Human life is made perfect by this thing. Yeah. Please read the next para. Our mind.
Our mind is like microprocessor, and our working senses are like servo motors. The jnana indriyas like eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, etc. give inputs to the mind. Mind processes the information and orders the working senses through the intelligence to act in a certain way. If input in mind is wrong, then senses want to act in wrong ways. Example, eyes want to see dirty cinema posters, etc. By chanting the Hare Krishna, we are filling our mind with Krishna, Rama, Hari names and purifying it. We are emptying poison vessel and filling with nectar. Nectar increases life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what you all are doing. Every morning when you are chanting Hare Krishna, you are emptying the poison vessel of the heart and you are filling it up with the nectar of Amritam, just like filling your heart with sweet rice. So that is actually nectarian, it's beneficial for you and for others. That is the beauty of chanting, yeah. And next, bestows transcendental knowledge, yeah.
Chanting Hare Krishna purifies the heart and consciousness. One can then clearly understand his spiritual identity and realize God. The realization that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead usually takes many births.
Bahunam janmanamante.
But one can quickly attain this mature state of spiritual consciousness simply by chanting Hare Krishna.
Yeah. See, we clearly understand spiritual identity means what? For example, most boys in your college, if you see, they have no awareness of their identity, who they are. Like you imagine if a man is drunken in liquor, his head is spinning and he doesn't know his identity. And he says, hey, I'm a body, I'm a bodybuilder. Anybody has the guts to come, fight with me, he says. Even a small kid goes and pats his body, immediately the fellow will fall on the ground. He has no stamina, no strength. But he imagines himself to be very strong in an intoxicated state. Similarly, Pishacha Payale, Yata Mati Chinna Hai, it is said. Many of the youths, when they come, they have no understanding of who we are. What is soul, what is body, what is goal of life, nothing. They are completely ignoramus. Still, they are very proud. On the contrary, here it says, if you chant Hare Krishna, all good knowledge will come to you. Like you are all gaining knowledge now. By chanting Hare Krishna, gradually you become more and more blossomed in your knowledge. I read the next one. Best form of repentance or atonement.
Best form of repentance. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, chanting Hare Krishna is the best and most powerful means of atonement. Sins are not just nullified, but they are permanently removed.
Avashenapi annamni kirtite sarvapatakahi tadas puman vimuchyate sadyah simhatrashtair mragairiva. Yeah, translation.
If one chants the holy name of the Lord, even in a helpless condition or without desiring to do so, all the reactions of the sinful life depart. Just as when a lion roars, all the small animals flee in fear.
On the left side picture, anybody can guess whose picture is that?
Can you zoom it, please?
Anybody knows who is that? You know, you'll be surprised if I tell you who is this. See, the sinful Ajamila, whom you all might have heard about, you know, who went to the forest and saw a dirty sight and brought the prostitute to home, drove away his chaste wife and parents, and then lived with the prostitute and produced 10 children. That Ajamila, at the time of death, he called Narayana, and Yamadutas came to capture him. And now, when I called Narayana, Vishnudutas came and saved him. You all know this, right? So Vishnudutas came and cut the Yamapash. After that, the story further goes. He left that Kanyakuj place near Kanpur, and he came to Haridwar. What you are seeing in the picture is a beautiful temple in the bank of Ganges in Haridwar, and surrounded by beautiful mountains of the Himalayas nearby. So he became repentant for all the blunders he did in life. And he cried out loudly and became very determined to lead a pure life. He joined that Vishnu temple. Every morning he worshipped the Supreme Lord Vishnu there. And he studied Gita, Bhagavatam, scriptures. And he took a bath in the holy Ganges daily. He would wear tilak in 12 parts of his body. He wore a kantimala in the neck. And he led a very pure life. He obtained all good qualities. And 12 years of such a practice completely washed off all the sinful reactions. And what you are seeing in the picture is the same Vishnudutas who came to save him by cutting the Yamadutas ropes. They have come again now. And they are welcoming Ajamil. Now you become a pure devotee. Come back to Vaikuntha. They are now picking him up from there and going to take him back home, back to Godhead. That's the picture there. That means, this is a powerful power of the holy name. All the sinful reactions flee away, like when a lion roars in the forest, animals flee. Similarly, we became free. Yeah. Yeah, read this. Faith in God. Yeah. Yeah, please read it.
Chanting clears all doubts, fills one with firm conviction, and solidifies one's foundation in devotion.
Yeah, in this way, faith in God is increased by chanting Hare Krishna. Vicheyani vicharyani vichintyani punah punah kripanasya dhanani va tvan namani bhavantunah. Please read.
Just as a wizard continually collects, counts, and remembers his money, in the same way, let us continually collect, count, and remember your holy names.
Rupa Goswami gives a very graphic example. You have seen a Sethji in a shop. You have seen how they count the money? A businessman. And while counting, he counts very, very fast, but one note he will not miss. And then he will put a rubber band and keep it, and keep it. When the stock increases of money, he becomes very happy, smiling. Similarly, while he is counting money, he is saying, let me take my bead bag and count my japamala. Like that he is telling. Let me also count more and more rounds and then stack Bhakti Sukriti, which is imperishable Amritamaya results it produces. Like that Rupa Goswami is saying. Let Sethji count money and I will count holy name. Like that he is saying. Next one. Although liberation.
Although Kali Yuga is full of faults and suffering, the Supreme Lord has given a concession by making the all-powered holy name easily accessible and the most appropriate for this age. With very little effort, anyone can achieve liberation simply by chanting Hare Krishna.
Nama Sankirtanam Jasya Sarva Papa Pranashanam Pranamo Dukkha Shamanas Tam Namami Harim Param. Last sloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. Yeah, read it.
I offer my respectful obeisances to the Supreme Lord Hari, the congregational chanting of whose holy name destroys all sinful reactions, and the offering of obeisances onto whom relieves all material suffering.
He says, Nama Sankirtanam Yasya. If you chant Hare Krishna, Sarva Papa Pranashanam. Your papa, your sinful actions are destroyed. Pranamo, if you bow down to the deity of Krishna, like you are all having Gopi Vallabha, deities there, if you bow down to him, what happens? Dukkha Shamanas. All your miseries are pacified. So if you want to become free from misery and free from sinful reactions, you bow down to the deity of Krishna and chant the holy name, which you are all doing daily. That's the promise given there, yeah. Okay, how can we chant Hare Krishna with concentration? Now in the next section, that's a talk about how to chant with better quality, which I will start tomorrow. See here, it's with concentration, and then how to get concentration is going to be explained. How we advance. So these things are how to control the mind. These things will come. We'll explain about superconscious, subconscious, and conscious mind. With that, and then practice of, see, everything is about concentration here. How do we get there? So, we will discuss a little bit more about chanting in the next class. So this is a very important section coming up. I will not start it today on especially chanting with attention, because till now we saw all the benefits of chanting, everything wonderful, but how do we chant? So that we will learn in the next class. Okay? Any questions? Or any reflections? So you heard so many benefits. Let us see, any of you remember one benefit you remember? Tell me. What you appreciated the most in what you heard today?
We control the senses. It helps us control the senses.
It can help us control our senses. Very true. Otherwise, our senses are going mad. Many times they don't listen to us and they take us to hell. But the chanting of holy name controls the senses. Yeah. Then?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Next,
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Prabhu. So chanting helps us remove anarthas in our heart so that we kind of become more connected with Krishna, which is our sole purpose. So
very good, very good. Thank you. That's perfect. Yeah.
So chanting also induces creative thinking and the calmness in mind, which is, I believe, really important.
Yeah.
It gets rid of anxiety, which is really
important. Very true. Thank you. Who else?
Prabhuji, we do not enjoy chanting initially because of our bhoga vritti. Just like we don't like jaundice, we don't like sugarcane juice during jaundice. So eventually, when we practice, and after 2-3 months, like we start liking the juice, so we start liking chanting as well.
Very good. Chandan remembered a very, very important example. Thank you, Chandan. Very good. Yeah. Then, anyone else?
Cleanses the heart.
It cleanses the heart. That's true. Yeah. It washes off the heart and replaces the ugly things in the heart. It replaces it with amritam, with nectar, like sweet rice, I told you. Therefore, devotees become better and better in spiritual life. From being bitter, they become better. You can see as we practice the chanting regularly. Anybody else? So these are benefits. But if you see the notes, we will remember more a little bit. See here, today we started with 8 benefits of the chanting. Part of it you all said that. The example of Kunti I told you, you remember? So I told you Kunti example and some mobile example. Somebody remembers?
Yeah, just like how we when we connect Bluetooth, we automatically call someone who is far distant away and connects. And similarly, like that, when Kunti calls Krishna, automatically Krishna pushed the plate of rice and prayed before Kunti for helping her.
Exactly. So Krishna may be far away, but immediately he's able to connect with devotees and listen to the prayer. So Kunti's example is perfect. So can you give a couple of more examples, Arvind, of who connected with Krishna simply by chanting the holy name?
Prahalada, Bhakta Prahalada.
Bhakta Prahalada also called. In today's session, I gave 2 more examples.
Jamil.
Dhruva Maharaj is one example. Actually, I gave the example of two, Gajendra and Draupadi, because Draupadi was calling from Hastinapuram and Krishna was in Dwarka. Gajendra called from here, earth, and Lord was in Vaikuntha. The geographic distance is far away. But still, when they called the holy name, Lord could respond back to that. So therefore, I called the holy name as a spiritual mobile. Correct, no? By material mobile, you connect with material people in this world. With spiritual mobile, can connect with Supreme Lord Krishna. So easiest way to, the hotline, I told you, the hotline to connect with the Lord. Why hotline I am calling? Anybody can say why? Why the holy name is called as hotline?
Because the name is not different from Krishna.
That is true. And also hotline in a company, in a corporate company, a hotline means anytime you pick up the hotline, you can talk. As soon as you pick up, immediately can connect. That's called hotline. So the holy name is like that. Any time of the day you can call and Krishna is available for you. And you can connect and you can chant and you can pray to him. Please cleanse my heart. Please purify my ego. Please accept me as your devotee. And then you can pray. And Krishna will respond to that. So that is the example of Draupadi and Gajendra. And you all told Ajamila also. Yeah. Okay, one more question. What happened to Dhruva when he went to forest and chanted Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya? What was the result of that? Who can say? Akash, you can recollect the answer.
Lord Krishna appeared in front of him.
Yes, you are right. Yes, he appeared. Lord Vishnu appeared in front of him. After that, what happened?
He placed the Shankh on his head, the conch shell.
Yes, he touched the conch shell. So after he touched the conch shell, anything miraculous happened? You are right. Up to that point, you are right. Lord touched his head with a Shankh. Anybody can say what happened after that?
After that, Dhruva Maharaj, his desire for a kingdom vanishes and he asks to be a devotee of the Lord. But,
Yeah, exactly.
But the Lord gives him both the kingdom and also the devotion.
Perfect. That completes the answer. Very good. Thank you. That's perfect. So I'm seeing one more name here. YS. I don't know who it is. YS. Who is YS? Oh, that's Vanamala Prabhu. Then I want to ask Vanamala Prabhu knows all these points. I will ask question to another. Okay. Very good.
It's me. Sorry, I was down in service.
Okay. No problem. So, yeah, we saw all these things. So, yes, we have completed the revision of all prominent things. Yes, somebody want to say something? Yeah.
I wanted to ask you one question.
Yeah.
It is something that I was thinking about. Like a few months back, there were attacks in Bangladesh
Correct.
on ISKCON temple, and a couple of devotees lost their lives.
Yes.
And I've been thinking about it, Prabhuji, and I struggled to make sense of that incident. And we are taught in scriptures that the Lord always comes to protect its devotees.
Yeah.
And those devotees, even though they went to the spiritual plane, they lost their lives over here. So how do we make sense of something like that?
Yeah. Actually, I have spoken 2 lectures on this in my channel. One is called Bangladesh Attacks. That's the title. And that I have spoken the same answer to your question. Actually, if a devotee dies, either by a snake bite or by an accident or by this kind of incident, one should know that sometimes a devotee's account is a very terrible account. Say, for example, one butcher took Diksha from Prabhupada. Prabhupada told him, see, your hands are tainted with blood. Now you want to chant Hare Krishna and become a pure devotee now, like Valmiki. Henceforth, never kill any animals, like the Prabhupada said, and he gave him the mala. So now this butcher's account is very bad, you understand, no? It's a terrible, he has killed, say, thousands of cows he has killed. Now, unfortunately, he has to get some reaction. For every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. So now in the next life, in case he dies in an accident, or he, gets some disease and he dies, people may not know. They will ask, why Lord Krishna allowed his devotee to die? They may ask. But he has been a butcher. He has killed thousands of cows. The reactions have to come. But because he has become a devotee, he will not have to die several times. He will have to suffer one. Like, for example, if you switch off the fan goes like this slowly and stops. Similarly, the reactions will come to a halt. But it may take some time if somebody's account is very terrible. The reactions come, but gradually they will die off. And see, nothing happens to anybody without a cause. You understand, no? For example, say somebody, a thief stealing, robbing a bank in pant shirt, he is having a jeans and t-shirt. He robbed the bank. Now suddenly he went out, he immediately changed over to a lungi and a banyan, and he shaved off his mustache. So the police cannot recognize, and he's running away in a bike. Will police leave him? The person is same person. He may change from one car to bike and everything. But the person is same person. The police will catch him. Same manner, one Atma in one body kills thousands of cows. And then the next life he is born in another body where he wears tilak and he becomes like a devotee. Still the old reactions will not leave him. They will chase after him. But once he becomes completely purified devotee, then he will not suffer. But that takes some time. The boy who died, the Parthadas, if you see, he was actually not in the temple. He is not a temple devotee. He is actually a visiting member from outside. And he had actually gone to a pond to take a bath. And when he came out of the pond, that time the mob was running here and there. And then somebody in the mob, caught him and attacked with a weapon and then threw him back in the pond. It happened like that. And there are some devotees in the temple who were beaten up, but they were not killed. But if somebody is killed, that means their karmic account is very heavy. You can understand that. For example, you also will see that in your college, different actions attract different type of punishments, correct, no? You see that. Around us in this world, we find somebody got a wound in the knee. That's a mild punishment. Somebody got a fracture in the leg. That's a little more serious. And somebody died in a car accident. That's even more serious. So these are all called as, the smaller and more higher degrees of reactions come. But one good thing with that devotee who passed away from this body, so even if he had a terrible sinful account, now the sinful account is nullified now. It's finished now. He is freed from it now. Now once and for all. Now again he will be born in a devotee's family because this life he took devotee's body and he practiced also. So he is going to be reborn as a devotee. And now he will not have to suffer anymore. But sometimes even just 3 days ago, I went to jail in Denkanal. 300 prisoners came for the program. And all of them chanted and danced in the kirtan. We made circles of the prisoners and we gave them one Bhagavad Gita and Chapamala we gave them. And the police officials saw, they also sat and they attended the lecture also. And they also took mala and they chanted also. Now amongst these people, I asked the top police superintendent. He said there are various categories of thieves, he said. Some of them have stolen a bank. Some of them, he said, are drug addicts and they are drug peddlers. And some of them, he said, have raped women. And some of them are murderers, he said. And he said, for the thieves, we keep them 6 months to 1 year. Small thieves. Bigger thieves, 3 years, 4 years. And those who are drug addicts, 7 years, he said. And those who are rapists, sometimes 10, 12 years. And those who have done murder, 15 to 20 years, as it is said. So he was telling that these are all kept like that. Now, I came to know that amongst these thieves, every day evening they read Bhagavad Gita 1 hour. All of them are sitting together and reading Gita and they're chanting also Hare Krishna together. They made chanting circle. Now, when these thieves come out, still they have the sinful account. You agree? No? Now, although they are also wearing tilak, they have done murder and come now. So you may say, Prabhuji, now that they have become devotee, Krishna should not give them any punishment, you may say. But the punishment will be waived off after they become completely pure. But if they haven't become completely pure, if they have done terrible reaction, the reactions chase after them for some time. Like a fan switched off, doesn't stop instantly. It takes some time. But the sufferings will gradually reduce. There's no doubt about that. Is that clear?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah, so 2 lectures. There is one on Bangladesh attacks. If you just put Bangladesh attacks in my channel, you will get that. You can read that. That was one lecture which many people heard and asked many questions. Then there is one more I have spoken on, if you go in the same series, 3-4 lectures later, after this Bangladesh attacks, you will find there is a picture of a boy holding a Bhagavad Gita in the hand. Yeah, simply by, destroying the murtis, can one defeat God? That is also one of the lectures, because some foolish people go to temples and destroy murtis. So these 2 lectures were connected to Bangladesh event. Now, when you all get time, you can just hear that. Maybe it's 1.5 hours, I think. So thank you very much. We'll meet tomorrow again.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Okay, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna.